Hello everyone, we're Group 4 and today we will be presenting our idea called EcoBox. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define EcoBox. So what is EcoBox? So EcoBox is supposed to be a company that provides sustainable and eco-friendly packaging solutions for Canadian small and medium-sized enterprises as well as e-commerce platforms. There's certain reasons why we're choosing this particular market to begin with. For one, it's more realistic. We might want to serve larger companies down the road, but for now we're going to focus on Canadian small and medium-sized enterprises. And we do want to go big, but we've also found that smaller companies have different requirements than the big companies like Walmart and Amazon. We've noticed, or a trend that you'll see in most cases, is that smaller firms require smaller batch sizes, more frequent orders, and a higher degree of packaging customization. Now, EcoBox will earn income from a subscription model, so the different companies that are buying packaging from us, they'd just subscribe to our service and we'd have different service plans, 3 different levels. And eBox will use lean inventory methods and a pull demand system. Lean, that helps make sure that we have neither too much or too little inventory, and pull demand is, as we said, it's very responsive, so we don't just make a bunch of stuff and then try to sell it. We try to get a good reading of what the market is before we start to make our product. There are several innovation and market trends that are making services like eBox more popular. The first is growing popularity in ESG, or environmental, social, and governance matters. This means that businesses, consumers, and governments are becoming a lot more environmentally conscious, and they want to make products in a safe way, and products that are recyclable and biodegradable. So nowadays, being eco-friendly doesn't have to be expensive. Bioplastics and eco-friendly materials can be produced cheaply in quantities of scale. So this is not some kind of expensive thing now. Now it's practical to do this kind of stuff. And now another thing is that due to innovations in areas like nanotechnology, we can have different types of plastics with certain properties like resistance to oxygen. You might want to protect certain products like that. So because of nanotechnology and other innovations, we can have special materials that have more resistance to oxygen, more resistance to moisture, these kinds of things. So these can really, improve the security of a company's product or the quality of a company's product. Yeah, and as we've said, this is no longer just some niche thing. It's practical and cost effective for companies to go with eco-friendly packaging now. EcoBox is not the only player in the sustainable packaging market space. Other companies like Eco Enclose, No Issue, and Packlane have an established presence in the industry.
Thank you, Sunny. My name is Saanvi Vadehra, and now I'll be talking about our business opportunity and value proposition. So, talking about what EcoBox actually does. So, most small and medium sized e commerce businesses want sustainable packaging because customers increasingly expect environmentally responsible brands. However, many suppliers require businesses to order large quantities upfront, making eco friendly packaging expensive and difficult for smaller sellers to afford. EcoBox solves this problem by offering affordable subscription plans that provide recyclable and compostable packaging in smaller quantities. Customers receive customized packaging with their own branding without carrying large inventories or making major upfront investments. Our solution reduces waste, improves cash flow, and also allows businesses to present a professional brand image while remaining environmentally responsible. Now, coming on to why EcoBox. So, EcoBox creates value by making sustainable packaging simple, affordable, and scalable. Unlike traditional packaging suppliers, customers don't need to purchase thousands of boxes at once. Instead, they subscribe to a plan that matches their business size and receive packaging when they need it. The subscription model improves cash flow, reduces storage requirements, and helps businesses maintain consistent branding. Customers also benefit from inventory planning and reliable recurring deliveries, allowing them to focus on growing their business rather than sourcing packaging. Now, moving on to our target market and market analysis. So, the market indicators show strong growth in sustainable packaging. The eco friendly e commerce packaging market is expected to grow around 8% annually through 2031. Consumer demand is also increasing, with 57% of Etsy buyers more likely to purchase products shipped in recyclable packaging, and 39% of US consumers switching brands because of packaging. In addition, Canada's e commerce market is projected to grow from $40.4 billion in 2024 to $108.9 billion by 2035, creating significant opportunities for sustainable packaging solutions. Now, coming on to our target market, EcoBox primarily targets Canadian small and medium sized e commerce businesses. We begin with Etsy sellers because they're often looking for affordable branded packaging without large order commitments. As the business grows, we expand to Shopify merchants and local makers who have similar needs but larger order volumes. These customers value environmentally friendly packaging, affordable pricing, flexible subscriptions, and professional presentation for their products. This focused approach allows us to establish a loyal customer base before expanding into broader e commerce markets. Now, talking about the market analysis and competitive positioning, the sustainable packaging market continues to grow as online shopping increases and consumers become more environmentally conscious. Many traditional suppliers primarily serve large businesses by requiring minimum order quantities that are too expensive for small businesses. EcoBox differentiates itself by focusing specifically on small and medium sized enterprises through flexible subscriptions, affordable pricing, customization, and sustainable packaging materials. This positioning allows us to serve an underserved segment that continues to grow rapidly. Now, I'd be passing it over to Elizabeth to talk about our business model and marketing strategy.
Thank you, Sonny. Hi, Professor. My name is Elizabeth. Now, I will be talking about our business model and marketing strategy. EcoBox run on recurring monthly subscription rather than one-time sales, which gives us predictable, repeatable revenue as we grow. We offer three simple pricing tiers. The first one is the starter at $59, growth at $29, and premium at $249 based on how much a seller ships each month, and branding customization is included at every tier, not sold as an extra, because that's what our customers told us matter most. On the marketing side, we are leading with digital first channels, which is the SEO, social media, and a referral program that rewards our subscribers for bringing in new sellers. That keeps our acquisition cost low while we're still small. And we are distributing directly to consumers through our own website, fulfilled out of our GTA warehouse. So we control quality and keep delivery times short. For the model really for So the model really comes down to three things. The first one is the recurring revenue, the second, which is the direct distribution, and also a community led growth. I will hand it over to Angad now for our human resources and risk plan. Thank you.
Now we're going to talk about the operational and organizational plan for EcoBox. Companies like EcoBox have to abide by certain legal statutes, especially in a country like Canada. So one of the big things they have to follow is the CEPA, or Canadian Environmental Protection Act. This means preventing pollution and not directly damaging the environment. And then another legal statute we'd have to observe is CPLA, or the Consumer Packaging and Labeling Act. This means not deceiving the customer in any way with any kind of misleading labels or misleading messages in the packaging.
Thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Angad Sidhu, and I'll be going over human resources and operations, and then I'll go over risk assessment and contingencies plan. We've covered what we sell and how we reach customers. I want to spend a minute on how this actually runs because a business model only matters if we can execute it. The monthly box moves through 5 steps. We source from 2 primary suppliers plus a backup, so we're never dependent on one. Everything then gets checked on arrival for quality and eco certification. We pack boxes sized to each seller's order volume, which is the whole point of the model. We ship through 2 courier options, so one carrier's delay doesn't shut us down. And then we support onboarding and retention. On the team, we're 5 founders, all at the same level. Saanvi will run the operations and fulfillment. Sunny handles sourcing and sustainability. Aditya runs marketing and community. Elizabeth owns the customer experience and retention. And then I, Angad, will handle the finance and admin. Our first planned hire is going to be a part-time fulfillment assistant under operations, and we only bring them once volume actually demands it. Now, the reason this is realistic is mainly about stuff that we don't need. We don't need no factory because we assemble and ship rather than manufacture. There's no storefront, just Shopify and a small fulfillment space, and no custom software. We run on established platforms, which keeps our technical risk low. Low fixed costs mean we launch small, learn fast, and scale only when order volume will tell us to. Now we'll talk about risk assessment and contingencies. No investor takes a plan seriously if the team pretends nothing can go wrong. So we mapped out the risks that could actually hurt this business, and more importantly, what we do about each one of them. Supplier delay is our biggest exposure because we depend entirely on suppliers for the product, and a subscription that misses a delivery loses trust that much faster. So we carry a backup supplier for every core product, plus a small inventory buffer on our most popular item. Cash shortfall is second, and it's what kills most small businesses. Roughly 1 in 5 Canadian small businesses fail in their first year, and cash flow is the number one reason. Our answer is to order inventory in smaller batches, matched to actual subscriber counts, hold a cash reserve, and if things start to tighten, paid ads are the first thing that we will cut. The third one is very specific to our business. Because we sell sustainability, a greenwashing claim would damage the brand far more than a late shipment ever would. So we only work with suppliers who can document and certify their materials, and every claim we make is specific and verifiable. Fulfillment failure covers packaging errors and courier delays. We work with 2 couriers, so one carrier's problems doesn't shut us down, and we keep the packaging process so the work would never depend on one person's memory. Slow demand. So our stage launch means we test with a landing page and a small pilot before buying inventory or running ads. So weak demand shows up early and cheap. All of this is going to be monitored within the Simply monthly review. Cash, churn, supplier performance, and on-time delivery. The thread through every one of these is the same. Stay lean, keep a backup for anything we depend on, and catch problems while they're still small enough to fix. I'll now hand over to Aditya.
In this section, we will cover the financial overview and feasibility of EcoBox. In this side, we're going to cover the initial capital requirements of EcoBox and how we are going to obtain our early financing. So we've defined, and we're going to break this down in the next slide, we defined that we're going to need $120,000 of starting capital to sustain our first 6 months of operations. And then we further broke down how we're going to get that 120,000. So EcoBox is going to have 5 founders. Those are the people, those are us presenting this presentation right now. And then we will also hire some advisors, external advisors for technical, financial, and administrative complications that come over the way. So each of the 5 founders is gonna contribute between $5,000 to $6,000, which totals to $25,000 to $30,000 of bootstrapping funds. The next source of money, which is the bulk of where we're gonna get our money, is gonna be from Future Canada or the Business Development Bank of Canada. These are government organizations and nonprofit organizations. And what's good about these kinds of organizations is that not only do they give you, that seed capital, but they also send advisors and they give you some assistance to help you with your operations, because it's in their best interest that you can, pay off whatever you have to pay off, and it's in your best interest to get things figured out if you're starting your business. So it's a win-win. So these kinds of organizations, they will help you out, not just provide you money. And then the remaining 30 to 35,000, so we're going to get it from close friends, families, and perhaps angel investors. And another thing, founders will defer their salary in year one to free up more cash for operational expenses that might come in the way. In this slide, we've made a nice, easy to follow timeline of the capital expenditures that we'd expect to go through in our first 6 months of operations. Now, the first one is more of the administrative stuff: securing the seed capital, securing the contracts, website and platform interface, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the first 1 or 2 months, that's like the administrative and legal stuff. Month 2, that's when we focus like on our equipment and our software. So that means ERP, that means, fine-tuning the website, warehouse, equipment, inventory. So months 1 and 2, that's administrative stuff. Month 3, that's like software and hardware stuff. And then months 4 and 5, that's when we start to hire people. That's when we start allocating money to the marketing budget, now that we have the groundwork laid out. And then month 6 is when we launch in the market and start to sell our product. This is a breakdown of the capital expenditures that we've estimated for the first 6 months of operation of EcoBox. On this slide, we've laid out some of the EcoBox's financial goals for the next 5 years. Later on, we'll talk about when we expect EcoBox to break even. So we will measure the success of EcoBox by the number of subscribers, and especially by the number of premium subscribers. We're going to start off with a pilot of maybe 25 to 50 subscribers, or businesses subscribe to us. After we've sorted out some of the technical problems and really fine-tuned our operations, then we can focus more on product diversification, market growth, regional expansion, those kinds of things. Here we're going to talk about some of the key points of EcoBox's 5-year plan. The first is just being realistic. Year 1 will have slow growth and high initial upfront costs. We can only focus on growth and market retention once the technical and administrative foundation of EcoBox has been laid down. Second point we're going to put here is that cost of goods sold, materials, machines, outbound shipping, etc., we're estimating that to be around 45% of the earned revenue. Operational expenditures of EcoBox will increase over time, but we're expecting this cost of goods sold to be flat around 45%. That's just our estimate, and we may adjust that. Now, EcoBox is expected to break even at the end of the 4th quarter of year 2, and we're estimating that we'd have around 450 subscriber accounts at this point.
Thank you, Sunny. My name is Aditya Vachalam, and now I will be talking about the risk and sustainability considerations. Like every startup, EcoBox faces several business risks, but each has a practical mitigation strategy. If customer acquisition grows more slowly than expected, we will gradually expand from Etsy sellers to Shopify merchants and local makers while increasing digital marketing efforts. To reduce supply chain risk, EcoBox will also maintain multiple certified vendors instead of relying on one vendor. Cash flow will also be protected through lean operations, founder salary deferrals during year 1, and also careful inventory management. The business will also monitor a small number of key performance indicators each month, including cash flow, customer churn, supplier performance, and on-time delivery. Competitors will also be reviewed quarterly to ensure pricing and offering remain competitive. Sustainability is at the core of EcoBox business model. We use recyclable, biodegradable, and also compostable packaging sourced from ethical suppliers to reduce environmental impact and also support Canadian small businesses. Our also growth strategy also follows a realistic path. starting with the pilot of 150 subscribers in year 1, reaching break even by the end of year 2 with approximately 450 subscribers, and scaling steadily across Canada to over 2250 subscribers by year 5. This balanced approach ensures long term financial and environmental sustainability as well. These are the references we have used to complete our project. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions you have. Thank you.